Hey there, everybody. How are you today? It is Tuesday afternoon, the week of Thanksgiving, and I just want to make sure that those that are tuning in live for Pets Plus Live Beyond the Pages of the magazine are here with us today and can hear us. So if you're joining in, please type in the chat. Don't be shy. Please say hello and tell us where you're watching from. Hi, Chris. Hi, Rachel. Lots of people are tuning in, so thank you very much, because as I said, it is a busy time of year. I know that you have important things you have going on, but I love that you're making it a priority to take a minute and learn about business tips, learn about what other businesses in the industry are doing who have seen success, and I just want to thank you. My name's Candace Doniolo, your show host for Pets Plus Live Beyond the Pages of the magazine. I'm a business consultant for Pet Boss Nation, and we're a community that helps independent retailers and independent brands see success faster than doing it alone. We help you move from your passion for pets to being a profitable pet boss, as we say. And I am a regular columnist for Pets Plus magazine, this beautiful magazine right here. And this is their November-December issue that is filled, as usual, with amazing ideas, amazing ideas and amazing tips and tools and articles and interviews and cool products. And just, this magazine is constantly winning awards. So if you don't have it, you need to be getting it. And you can go get your free subscription at petsplusmag.com. And speaking of that, they also just launched a new website, a brand new website that looks super cool, super high tech. So check that out too. But don't leave right now. I want you to stay here with us. But later you can check out petsplusmag.com. And if you want to learn more about Pet Boss Nation, please visit our website as well at petbossnation.com. Now, today we have a very special guest with us. I'm going to be introducing you to Patrick Donston with Absolutely Fish, although I keep calling it in my head Absolutely Fishy. I don't know why, but it's Absolutely Fish in New Jersey. And the reason we're chatting with him is because his store was chosen out of a bunch of stores to be considered one of America's coolest stores in the Pets Plus contest that they run every year. So if you have a pet business and you want to, or a pet store, I guess, and you want to be considered as one of America's coolest stores, you need to join that or sign up for that contest. And it usually happens, I think they announce it in like June or July, but you can start getting your entries in March. So you've got some time for the spring to come ahead. But today we're talking to Patrick because he's this month's, in the November-December issue, he's this month's cool store feature. Now, this is live if you're tuning in now, and even afterwards, it's fine. You can type questions in the comments, but we love it when you engage with us. So along the way, if you have any feedback or questions or ideas or things you want to share, please feel free to type it in the chat. Don't be shy. All right, so as I've said, we're going to talk to Patrick of Absolutely Fish in Clifton, New Jersey. He's been around with this business for 18 years. 18 years. Wow, that's a long time. And Absolutely Fish is one of the largest fish stores in the state of New Jersey. That's impressive. They house over 9,000 gallons of marine fish and invertebrates, as well as 5,000 gallons of freshwater fish from around the world. And they are exclusively an aquarium center, carrying no other live animals except fish. Absolutely Fish specializes in high-tech aquarium systems and hard-to-find fishes from around the world. They have also been known to carry Australian fishes with a retail value of $5,000 per fish. I mean, I know it takes a while to house and care for those fishes, and there's a lot of other equipment that goes in and expenses that go into it. But man, I know a lot of you would love to just have a $5,000 day, let alone sell one item that's $5,000. So that's really cool. And if it has to do with fish, he says they have it, and they will go, or if it has to do with fish, they have it. And if they don't, they will go out of their way to get it. So welcome, Patrick of Absolutely Fish and the coolest store feature for the November-December issue. Come on and join us here. There he is.
Thank you, Candace. Thank you for having me. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, so we've got a bunch of people watching here, and why don't you? I would love for you to just tell us how you got started. How did you get started into this industry?
Well, like all of us, most of us that are watching this, as a young boy, I was one of the kids out in the woods trying to catch frogs, snakes, turtles, and I loved keeping animals. I loved animals when I was a young boy. So I always wanted to go. I was keeping fish for a small amount of time in aquariums, and I thought it was a fun hobby. I enjoyed going to the fish store when I was young. I wanted to study zoology in college. That's what I wanted to do. I kept telling my mom all along, I want to study animals. I want to work with animals, but I really didn't know what at that time. And my big aha moment was after I completed my bachelor's degree, I did an internship at the Columbus Zoo Aquarium. But what happened was I was walking around the zoo and I noticed that everybody wanted to work with the gorillas and the cheetahs, these types of animals. I looked at the aquarium and I said, when do we get to work in the aquarium? And I remember Jack Hanna. If you remember who Jack Hanna is, well, Jack Hanna looked at me and said, do you want to work in the aquarium? And I said, yes. And I noticed nobody else wanted to. It was like my big aha moment right then. I said, I can do something that none of my other zoology majors wanted to do. So that's where I went. I actually worked in the aquarium, and they really just lit my passion and got me so excited. I went back to get my master's degree and I wanted to focus on fish at that point. So I wrote some articles. Guy got my articles in Old Aquarium Fish magazine, and he asked me to come out and run his shop here in New Jersey. Being from Ohio, never was out here, moved out here, and I ran his shop for a little while. Met my wife. She was in Boston at the time, and we decided that we wanted to move the thing a little bit further. So I took everything that I learned by working at the public aquarium, and I said, this should be more of an educational place and not just peddling fish for a buck. Mm-hmm. And my wife and I were sitting having coffee, and we were sitting by the water across the Hudson, across Manhattan, and she looked over at me and she said, absolutely fish. I'm not kidding. That's how the name came about. And I looked at it, I said, hon, that's a great name. I said, I like it. So that's how I could go on, but that's how it all started. So I just had this vision at that time. And this was in 1997. And of course, we went through a process of purchasing this store. And it turned over officially in 2000, where it became Absolutely Fish. And so from there, it's just grown into more and more. And I thought I knew a lot then, Candace. I found out I don't. I've become much wiser over 18 years. And I realize today how much I do not know.
Yeah, you know so much more, but there's still so much to learn.
Oh, my goodness. I was younger and not wiser. Now I feel like I have a little bit more refinedness to me. Yes.
Oh, I love that. Well, we have a video that I'm going to just play in the background while you and I talk, and you can share more about what makes Absolutely Fish so unique. So let me share the screen here and we'll get that video kind of started. And there we go. Come over here and should be able to make it a little bit bigger. Okay. We'll get started there. So this is inside your shop. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about the actual business?
Yeah, well, for starters, as we watch this video, I just want to point out that when we shot these videos, walk around the shop, I've seen where I do think it's wise to do a professionally shot video when you want to market for social media, but we did not want to make this a professional video. We wanted it to be like you were a real customer walking in the store and walking around the shop. So you'll see that it's definitely not professionally done. And we did it kind of on the cuff. You know, we just went right out and did it. But we start by walking through. I think you're seeing some of our coral selection. One part of the store is only corals and coral reef habitats. one of the proudest things that we do, and you might see it in a minute, is we put a lot of exhibits together. And I think for retailers that are trying to do something that's out of the companion animal part of the pet business, reptiles and fish in particular, I think it's so important that you put exhibits together, because you really need to show our clients what they can do. Let their dreams become true. You know, the idea is to show it to them and instill their imagination, I call it. Get their imagination flowing so that it gives your staff the opportunity to now take them further. Here's an example of our CARES, carespreservation.com, CARES Tropical Tributary. And this is all endangered fish in this exhibit. We were one of the first CARES stores in the United. In fact, we were the first one, I think, in the United States. And that's a part of the hobbyist. And it's a matter of taking fish that are endangered in the wild, and they bring them in, and you're supposed to breed them and then keep them in the hobby. So we don't have to take them out of the wild anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's just one exhibit, right? That's a freshwater exhibit. I think they're going to move. Yeah, they're going to move back here to our soft fringing reef. This is all soft cnidarian, soft coral. The fish are smaller in here. And this one is a deeper sand bed. What we wanted to do with this exhibit was we wanted what's popular here, Candace, is there's refugiums in the hobby. We want to take the refugium, which is used as a filtration device, and make it the aquarium itself. You know, without going, I know I'm probably talking over some people understanding this, but it came out really nice. This exhibit right here is probably the most popular exhibit in the store now. Customers come in, they flock to it, they go running over to it. And the best part about it, you know what they say? They go, hey, we want to do this. Can we just do it in a smaller version? Of course you can.
Yeah.
We have it.
And I've even been to, there's a doggy daycare near me, and they don't sell any fish, but they have a beautiful aquarium like in the wall between I think where the store is and where their grooming area is, so that the customer can actually see through, but it creates this whole other ambiance. So even if you, I love what you're saying about creating exhibits as a whole separate concept, but I still think that having something like what you're saying, where customers come in and they just love looking at this thing, you know, as a retailer, even if you don't sell these products, this is a really interesting kind of feature to have to keep people in the shop to look at, to kind of help make you a destination as well.
Exactly. That's the whole thing, which we might talk about in a little bit later. But, you know, us retailers, we really do have to make our place a destination. And of course, for us as being a hobbyist, here's an example right now of some of my staff, and they didn't know I was taking the bend. I think one, that's Josh, he's now working for Liberty Science Center. The other gentleman is at Columbia University, but we train our staff to be professional aquarists. Some go on to, you know, other places. Public aquarium in particular, some are on getting their master's degree. One of our students has finished her master's in Australia for marine biology. Another one is actually recently, I believe she is in, I think she's going to Boston University, getting her master's in marine biology. So, you know, I'm very proud of my alum. You know, it's almost like I'm trying to be a school or a college, and I always like bragging about where my people have gone on to bigger and better things. Yeah. Yeah,
I love that, because a true leader, you know, sets people up for success and wants to see them actually like leave the store and go on to bigger and better things, right? And support them in that process. So why don't we go? I think that's a great segue. Let's just go right into, you know, those. When I asked, you know, when I asked you in advance some questions or for you to share some things, one of the questions we always ask is like, what are struggles you've overcome, that you've overcome? And a lot of times the business owners that I interview only send me like a couple things, and they're pretty vague. I don't think most people don't like to like actually share what they've struggled with and where they've gotten. But you were really honest, and you gave a lot of great feedback, and almost all of it was about leadership and being a better boss. And So I'd love for you to talk more about that for all our viewers.
I always, from the beginning, I realized very quickly I can't do everything. And if I want to grow, because all of us, even if it's a small business, we should all know that, you know, what you have as your customer basis right now can't stay the same forever. It should grow as you grow as a business. So as it grows, you know, it's kind of common sense. You need other people around you to help you. And I felt that the only way to achieve that is for myself to be a better leader. And I looked in the mirror in so many ways and just saw so many things I needed to fix about myself, that I felt that I needed, you know, if I did that better. So I spent a lot of time. One is, it's so funny, it's one of my books. This is a great book.
Yeah.
There you go, up there. But it's a really great book by John Maxwell. I read probably twice, and I've read leadership books. Another one, of course, which you might ask me about later, was Leaders Make the Future. And by just reading books, I highly recommend to read, especially when you go on business trips, because you're already thinking about business anyway. Get a good business book and read it, and take something out of the book when you return and incorporate it in your lifestyle or in your training manual. Sounds very silly, but when you start doing that little by little, you find that you not only change yourself, but you change your staff. And I wanted to work at being a better leader. I want to be, you know, I'm not sure I don't believe I'm there yet, but I think I'm better today than I was 5 years ago, if I could say that. And I've seen some differences we've made with our community, because it's all about our community. We have to make a difference.
So what specifically do you do now that you didn't do before that makes you a better leader?
Communication. I have quite a bit of meetings and communicate with my management. One of the things is I don't get angry like I used to. I throw around tantrums, fits, I would come in and it was like this defeated purpose. I would come in and it wasn't going my way today. So I think I'll take it out on my staff, or I'll be grumpy. And I have to tell you, I never took it out on the customers. That's like the sacred area on the floor. So that didn't happen, but the staff would possibly pay the price. I learned to curb that and say, if you're a leader, you know, in facing diversity, you have to show better character. That is one thing. But I wanted to ask more questions to my staff and to my managers about what we need to do. It's very hard to ask your staff questions. What is it you like? What is it you want? What do you think we can do better? As well as, you know, of course, your clients, that, you know, but you want your staff to be on board with you and follow you. Once they follow you, then it's easier to work with your clients. I don't know if I'm making sense here.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. I mean, I've seen it myself too. I mean, I've had my fair share of blow-ups, or where I bring something up in an inappropriate time because I just like it's eating at me so much to just say something about this, but it's not an appropriate place, and it just doesn't end in the result that I want it to, you know?
Yeah, and also your home life. I remember when I first started, I'd go home and I would actually have work on my mind and think about it. And my poor wife, my lovely wife, she would be like, "Oh my goodness, what did I put her through?" I have to tell you, I can leave it here now.
Yeah, that's good. Awesome.
That's part of leadership too. Just leaving it here. So you know, you gotta be able to decompress out of the business. There's enough to keep you stressed.
Right, totally. So who was your first? Who was the first person that you kind of put into place there to help to start to delegate to and give some responsibility to, so that you could leave more stuff at work instead of bringing it home? Who's that first hire? Because I have clients where they have lots of locations and they're still getting too many text messages about different things, and it's overwhelming. And so do you advise it to be more like a manager or HR person or an assistant? How did it play out for you?
Yeah, well, we're a little bit of a different situation. When I purchased the business, there were actually 2 people that worked for me when they were here, actually, while the business was in old ownership. So they're, believe it or not, they're still here with me. So it was real easy help. They were my right-hand man. There were actually 2 managers I had, and they're actually still here today.
Wow.
A lot of people in the business actually know them almost as much as me.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many customers come in and think they're the owners with me, and I don't care. I just don't care. I'm like, I don't care if anybody knows I own it. I don't. It doesn't.
Yeah.
When I'm not on the floor, I'm a manager, part of the team, like everybody else. I really don't care.
Yeah.
So it was easy in that respect. But I will tell you, we grew tremendously in the first 6 years. I knew very quickly the 3 of us couldn't do it. So there, I had to start looking at my best people to make assistant managers. And I started them as an assistant manager. And 2 of the people I made as assistant managers are actually still with me today. So one runs my aquarium maintenance department, and the other one runs my freshwater fish. So I'm very, very lucky, Candace. I have 5 managers. I think the newest one is Eric, and Eric has only been with us. Well, he was with us, and he went to Petco for a little bit, and he came back. But he's been with us 4 years, and that's the newest. Everybody else is 10 to 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 10 to 20.
Then what I love is you have a lot of managers, a lot of assistant managers, and so you've given, what I've heard is that you've given them like specific departments to be in charge of.
That's correct.
That's
how I organize it. I try to be very organized, and that is how we organize it. So we have a manager that's in charge of the coral reefs and invertebrates. Todd does the marine fish. Mike does freshwater fish, and then we also, and of course, they have to delegate different days. They are what we call the red manager of the day. The red manager actually is in charge of the whole day's protocol. They have to run the breaks. They're the ones in charge of like delegating where the staff would be working in which department. Because the staff do get the opportunity to work in the different departments, it's the red manager who decides for that day. And the red manager is different every day.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
And that way I just go out and I'm running around circle. Who's the red manager today? Because I forget. Who's the red manager? But I don't, I won't step on their toes. What they're doing is their job. I'm just trying to find out what's going on, or I have a suggestion, but I'm not going to take over what they're doing. That's important, to let them do what they do.
Yeah. And as you're saying this, Rachel's got a question here about how many square feet it is, but and I hadn't mentioned how many employees you have. You have like upwards of 30 employees. 35 employees. So it's really important, and I think strategically there to have these assistant managers who can be leads and oversee the team members in their areas, and then they can kind of report back to you. So how large is your store?
Square footage is almost 5,000 square feet, but the sales floor itself is about 4,400 square feet. So it's about 4,400 on the sales floor. Wait a minute, I'm off on that. Yeah, I'm definitely off on that. I would say our sales floor is, pardon me, Rachel, I would say we're 5,000 square feet. Sales floor is 3,850. Yeah, we have, because we have to have storage, and also just something else. We do have an aquaculture facility as well that is not part of this place. It's actually in the next town over. So part of my employees are over there working. There's probably 4 people over there working today.
Got it.
And the staff that's on the road maintaining aquariums, because we have 6 vans on the road. So I have 10. So when I have 35 employees, they're not all here. And there's probably 10 or 12 on payroll right now that aren't even in this building. They're out there either in aquaculture or in the vans. Yeah. Yeah,
I love that. That's definitely that service maintenance plan is, or home install, I'm assuming too. Like that is an interesting revenue stream that makes sense for your type of business. But I wonder how other businesses could incorporate that as well.
It's hard, and you know what? I'm not going to try to trick anybody out there, because the people say this, oh yeah, you should sell on internet, e-tail, go online. It's easy. It's not easy. Same with doing an aquarium maintenance business. It can be lucrative. You can do very well with it. But I have to tell you the truth. It took us years to refine it. I thought that, and when I first started it, boy, we went through a lot of roadblocks and a lot of hurdles there. I think we have it going pretty well now, but don't be fooled. Prepare yourself. If you feel that you want to give it a go, you need professional aquarists on board first. Don't send non-professional aquarists into people's homes and offices because you're just going to possibly have insurance claims because they spill water, and you know, they're not going to do a good job. So it's all about how good of a job you do, and we kind of learned that the process.
Yeah. I think it is a good thing to mention because, you know, I think with any online store as well as delivery or these service-based businesses you're talking about here, because a lot of retailers think that, oh, their business model will be saved or their cash flow will be saved if they just had an online store or if they just started offering local delivery, when in reality that's a long play game. Like that does take a long time, both of them, because they're entirely different. They're like other types of business models in addition to having your physical store. It's possible for sure, but
we had a meeting this morning on e-tailing, something we're looking to do in 2019. And I will tell you, as well as my assistant Sadie's, who's very much involved with it, we would tell you we've been now over a year planning it. It's been over a year process because I'm just not going to throw anything up there on the internet. I want to really try to, you know, do my homework and do it the right way. And I want to do it with a little twist, you know, and have something a little different because I don't want to go on and try to just be the same thing as everybody else. So, so we're kind of putting a little twist on ours that we don't know it's going to work, but we're going to try something different with it.
Well, Patrick, you've got some fans here in the chat. We've got Bill says he missed the opportunity to go see your store when he was at the aquatic experience, and he won't make that mistake again next year.
Okay. All right. Yeah, well, we were right close to Aquatics Experience. Yeah, we were in the area. And for those that came to see my shop, thank you so much for coming and visiting, because we did have a lot of shop owners come to visit, and we really, and I'll say this right now, next year, we already know, because Aquatics Experience is going to be by us next year, we are going to do something on Saturday night for Aquatics Experience where we're going to have people come here. We're going to have a little, like, kind of a cocktail thing at the shop, only open to people from Aquatics Experience. So.
Yeah. So, okay. So real quick. So Aquatic Experience, that's like a fish trade show, aquatics trade show. Is it open to consumers or just the industry?
Yes, it is. WPA, World Pet Association, it's their show. And WPA started it in Chicago 6 years ago. So they wanted to do an all-encompassing type show with retailers, wholesalers. It is a fish show. They have sea lion exhibit or a shark exhibit to bring families and consumers in. The first day on Friday is industry only. Saturday, Sunday, open up to everybody, to the public. I've been going from since the first year. I loved it. I always raved about it. And this year it moved to New York. I wasn't real happy about that. I was like, oh, lovely. It's in my backyard. My joke was, people would say, where's Patrick? He went to Chicago. I was going to go to on vacation to Chicago. Because we didn't want to, you know, it was a lot of work. My whole staff was there. Everybody.
Yeah. What I love about what you just said about having an event, because you're close to this, close to this expo, is that you're going to use the opportunity, because you already get a lot of overflow, you've said, of people who then come to your store to see it. But you can maximize on that opportunity by hosting an actual event that's a conjunction and really make money. And I don't know, I think a lot of other pet stores in the, you know, specifically in the industry wouldn't think to do that, or would be nervous about competitors coming in, or, you know, what's your mindset around all of that?
Competitors. You know who our competitor is? And this is true with everybody in the pet industry. Your competitor should never be the local shop or the local groomer down the road from you. It should not be Petco. It should not be PetSmart. They're there. They're beautiful. They're great for our industry. They bring people into our industry. Our competitors are GameStop and Best Buy and the places where people are spending their disposable income. So competitors, I don't think the thing is you aren't going to have the GameStop people coming in for that.
Yeah.
That's what we gotta worry about doing. You know, all just worried about doing a better job and how do we service our community better? How do we service our clients better? Everybody wants to talk about how to make money, but nobody wants to talk about how to service the community better. We got to get down to that, servicing our community. If we could do that better, we're going to be fine. You will be fine. Don't be grumpy and rude, and help people. They're passionate about animals like we are. Help them, please.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love that. So you have a lot of other events that you do at your store, and one of them I want to have you talk about is what I think was the Midnight Madness sale. Yeah. And now, so tell us how it started and what it's become.
Okay, so here's what happened. It was the first year I bought the store, and I came in. It was one of the first meetings we had with the two managers I just told you about. And I walked in, and I said, "Hey guys, I got this idea. What do you say we open the store at midnight, and we have some crazy sale, and we just throw things on sale?" And my guys just looked at me like, "You're nuts. This is the dumbest thing ever." I said, "No, come on. We got to get different. We're new. You know, we got to do different things." And so I said, "Well, let's." So we threw a survey out. So and you know what? Have surveys. Put it on your social media. Ask your fan base what they want. What do they like? That's something. If there's a tip, right there's a tip. And we did this in 2000 with no internet at the time. I think we had some little, very basic website. I don't even know if we had a website. I think we did. Whatever. But anyway, so we threw a survey in the store. Everybody kept saying yes, they would come on midnight sale. So we said, what the heck, let's do it. So we put it out there. And I'll never forget, we came in that night at like 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. We got ready. Glenn walks in my office and he says, "Did you see the parking lot?" And I go, "What are you talking about?" And I looked out my office window and I went, pling, the blinds pulling, and I go, "Oh my goodness, there wasn't no parking. Parked cars everywhere, down to the diner next door." I'm like, he goes, and I turn around, looked at him. He goes, "What are we gonna do?" I go, "I don't know. I guess we're just gonna do our best."
Yeah.
So we took it from then and we kept refining it through the years, and we kept putting it and making it better and better. We're on a highway. I actually had people call me Monday or Tuesday after the sale that have nothing to do with the sale and say, "How did you put that together? There's a line out the door. It's going down the sidewalk." And I said, it's a small community. And what we really do is we just hit it hard on our Facebook and our YouTube. It's hit very hard in a small community. And we bring in like over 1,000 people. It's crazy. It's really pretty cool.
That sounds really. Now
we just kept with our own community, we start passing the flyers out in the middle of the summer, and people would say, "Well, you don't want people to know about your sale too soon." I'm like, I found out it didn't affect us. If anything, the more people knew about it, the more they're visiting you because they want to see what you're doing for the sale. Sounds crazy, but they should know about it. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes even as your sales become more popular, you can even buy inventory just for the sale.
That's what I do that. Yeah, now we're at that level now where we're actually negotiating. We negotiate the inventory for the sale because we're trying to push along the best price possible. We want like one day as a customer appreciation to beat the internet prices, give them the treat and bring in, it's a good cash flow.
Yeah. Bill's curious, like, how crazy are your sales? Like, I need some examples of, like, what would be a promotion or discount you're going to do at the Midnight Madness?
Well, on the Midnight Madness, for example, this past year, we had Hagen. Because what we do is we got Hagen involved, which Hagen's been here for many years, so they're very aware of it. So we negotiated prices. We were actually selling the lights, all of their LED lights below what their map pricing is online. Of course, we can't advertise this, so we're not allowed to advertise it. But what we can say is, so low we can't advertise it. That's how we say it. Come to I think we sold about 38 in one day, 38 lights. Yeah, LED lights, and these lights aren't cheap, Candace. These are $150, $250. But like foods, we'll do 25% on foods. Some foods, if they're coming, like Ocean Nutrition, well, 40% on some of the items. Livestock, don't go crazy with the livestock. I'll tell you why. The livestock people will buy. You don't got to put the livestock 40%. You could do your livestock 20. This is for Bill, but you could do your livestock at 25, and you'll find people go nuts at 25. If you have, give them the dry goods. That's where you give them a little bit of a better deal on the dry goods. Just keep the livestock a flat 25, and it's packed. It's packed where people wait. There's a line. You have to wait outside. We can't let everybody.
And do you only do that big of a sale one time a year?
One time a year. It's a lot of work. You have to prepare for it, and it's too much work to do it more often than that.
Right. And so, because another question that he had was, how do you get 1,000 people to show up? And I think it's a lot of little things that build up to that big event. But
exactly.
what would be
our first year? There wasn't that many the first year. It was crowded. The parking lot was closed. Now we use half the parking lot for a tent outside because we actually are trying to make more room outside to keep people entertained while they wait to get in the store. So now, it's all changed. So keep in mind, this past year was our 18th annual one doing it. But our first year, we didn't have 1,000 people. We had maybe 300, 350 the first year or something. This year, I think it was almost 1,100. I'm not 100%, but yeah, my son's here. He's the clicker guy at the door, and I'll have to ask him when I talk to him. I don't remember.
So I love that concept too of like you got the tent outside, you're entertaining them while they wait. What kind of things do you do to entertain them?
Well, we have a picture booth outside. That's all a Sadie's idea. And you could come and we take photographs. We have face painting. Actually, one of my girls that works for me, she is an artist and she does face painting. I think the picture you have of me, that was painted on last year's sale. That fish that was on me, I think you guys had it on you. That was actually painted on me. Because I go out and get my face painted if I want. I walk around, I'm just hosting. This past year, we had actually what's behind me here, this was actually our theme. It was 11-piece theme. So everybody was wearing pink shirts. We had pink, like we all look like Good and Plenty's. And actually, Good and Plenty's, we used Good and Plenty this year. Every year we think of different theme. We have vendors under the tent. So one year we had Dr. Tim Hovanek from Dr. Tim's Aquatics, and they're under the tent. We'll also bring in local artists that paint fish, and their paintings are under the tent, so they can shop under the tent.
So you're truly making it this big event.
Oh yeah. We try to make it like a festival of fish. Yeah.
That's a little. Love it.
Yeah.
So what time of year do you have it?
It's in August. We do it in August every year. Yeah, it's always in August. We do it the same weekend. Our customers ask us every year, "What is the midnight sale?" I'm like, it's the same time. It's the weekend before Labor Day. It's the same weekend every year. It's always that way.
One of the other questions that came up earlier when we were watching the video was about the care tanks or being a care store. Can you elaborate on that for everybody?
Well, CARES, I would recommend going to the carespreservation.com and reading about CARES there. And once you read about it, you can contact Claudia. I know Claudia, she runs the organization, and she would then be able to give you much more information on it. But as part of it, you're supporting CARES, and if you have fish that you're carrying, you'll have access to which fish are endangered that are on this list. And what you're supposed to do is when you have them in your shop, you mark them as CARES fish. That way, a client, if one of your customers is buying it, you give them the brochure of what the CARES organization is. If they purchase that fish, it's up to them. They go to the CARES preservation website, and then they would be able to register the fish, and they're part of the network there. You're just kind of like getting people into the network for them.
And CARES, CARES stands for conservation, awareness, recognition, encouragement, and support.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
That's awesome. So one of the other things I'd love to hear your perspective on is because you and I hadn't, I'm not in the aquatics industry specifically and have no experience running a fish store. But when we talked, you said the difference about my store compared to what most, when people think of the pet industry with the companion animals and pet parents, is that you are a hobbyist store. Your customers do this as a hobby. It becomes something they're really interested in and passionate about. So elaborate more on that, and then on what you think the difference is and having a hobbyist store. But also, I'm just curious, what you do in that type of business that maybe the other pet stores are missing out on an opportunity to think outside the box and treat it more like these customers are hobbyists in reality.
Oh boy. So as a hobbyist shop, we are a little different in the pet industry. Hobbyists need to be educated, very much so, especially when we're dealing with life. It's not just a hobby like stamp collecting, you know, or trains. It's a hobby with life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's vitally important that you have a staff that wants to educate their consumers for the hobby. And that's why people come to the shop in the first place. We don't want anybody to feel like we're trying to sell you anything. We sell through just educating you about the animal or about what you're keeping. And through that process of having a conversation, there's might be recommendations made, you know, but it doesn't sound like, you know, the problem you see a lot in the pet business is when somebody tries to sell you a new dog collar or a dog food, and the same with us, fish foods. They're very, it's like the dog food business. It's the same type of thing because it's better. It just comes up as such sales, you know, and you know, young people are they don't like getting tricked by a business. So educating them about the ingredients and why the ingredients are important to your animal is a better way of going about it. So with that said, being a hobbyist, you know, it's about showing fantastic displays, but it's really about my team around me. And I learned, you know, it's funny, Candace, when people say, where's all your energy go? It doesn't go into marketing. It doesn't go in, it goes into employee training. And every day, everybody knows this, at 4 o'clock, you can't reach me. I'm in a class every day at 4 o'clock. I have a class every day with some of my staffs. Every day somebody gets a class to keep them up to date or maybe for continuing education. It's so the underrated part of running a business is employee training. Bam, there. See, I could have said that so easy. It's so underrated, and I'm over the top with it. I seriously am over the. I'm serious. I'm over. I wish my staff was here. They would be like booing. They would be shaking their heads. I'm so over the top of it. Hey, Candace, check this out. I brought this because I want to show you. This, seriously, these are just some of our training manuals. These are just some of them. Yeah,
wow. You put those together yourself?
Them, but like these are just 4 of them, and this is almost like a college textbook for. Yeah. I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that. I encourage all of you that's starting is start with just a simple training manual, but make the first section. Chapter 1 should be about what's your objective with your company, with your business. What is your objective? And it shouldn't be peddling an animal for $1 or doing that. It should be about what is it that you mean to the community. That should be your first section, because if you don't have your staff on board with that, then forget about anything you're going to teach them in a technical aspect. They got to be on board with your mantra first, and that should be your first section. I encourage everybody to do that.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, you have a meeting every day. Well, I shouldn't say it's not a meeting because you're going to teach. Do you pick topics you talk about?
Pardon me?
Do you have a specific topic ahead in advance?
Yes, I do. I will usually on Sundays, I do 2 weeks in advance. I look at, okay, who's on those days, because it matters who's working. And I look, okay, who's on? I'm going to do a class at 4 with these 2 on this subject, class at 4, class at 4. And when there's new people, they get more classes more frequently, because obviously I want them to get through the training manual quicker, because I want them to do at least the first training manual. And then they got to take their 3 tests, and each test comes a class, because I want them to be able to help people on the floor. So they're getting a little more of my attention. New people get more attention. But like, for example, tonight's class, I'm doing three of my employees who have been with me since May or the beginning of summer, but they're getting a class with me tonight.
Awesome. Yeah, it's amazing that you're willing, you're willing and you're showing up in your business every day to have a meeting. And I know business owners that don't even have a monthly company meeting. They might go an entire quarter never even getting together. And it's unfortunate because your employees are going to help you run this business and will help you grow your business. You can't scale without team. You can't take time off without team. You can't help you can't help all the customers that you want to help without team. You can't do it alone. So I love your strategy. It's brilliant. I've never met anyone else that does that.
I take it very serious. I'm serious. I training my class is one of my most important things I do every day.
Mm-hmm.
I really mean it from the bottom of my heart. And yeah, we had a meeting this morning too. We had a management meeting this morning, and not because of this. It was just happened that today fell the day of the management meeting. But we try to keep up with everything. That's part of how I trying to get to be a better leader is to communicate with my managers and to communicate with them. You know what else we do, Candace? Every morning before we open, we have a 5. And the 5 minutes is everybody has to get in front of the counter 5 minutes before we open, and everybody, we have a quick briefing with anything that's going on. This is what's coming up. This is what we're doing. There's something different every day. And we recite our purpose, mission, and vision every day before we open. Every single day. And every staff member has to know it. That's part of the first part. You get a training. And I joke with them. I said, you won't have to say it for at least 2 weeks. You're going to listen to everybody else say it. Then we're going to be calling on you to say it. But it's just a way of just connecting everybody to what we're truly here for. And there's nothing in there that says we sell fish. Sell fish. That's what we
awesome.
did. Yeah, we did.
So Rachel's curious. And guys, if you're watching live and you have questions for Patrick, just type them in the chat. We have about a little over 10 minutes left. Rachel just wants to know more, I think, because of your shirt that you're wearing. She wants to know what 4 Ocean is.
I did that on purpose. I purposely wore that. This was our outreach this year. I want to tell you that I know we're big on green and Earth Day, but I want to tell you, Candace, I was big on Earth Day, I think, before it was hip. I really, my wife would tell you that I was into it in the 90s. And so I wanted to get into Earth Day, and I thought, what a great way to send our message of who we are is every year for Earth Day, we're going to do something for our planet, party with the planet. So we make it a huge celebration here the week of Earth Day, which is April 22nd. And every year we get behind a conservation group. And it's a great idea is get behind something, even if you don't have wildlife type things, even if you're a groomer, or dog or cat, support, recycling or something like that, something that that relates to your community the week of Earth Week, and you support it. Have your customers come in, they get the discount upon a donation. Give them something off, 20%, whatever you want to do. We give out a 15% VIP card to the donations, and it's amazing the amount of money we've raised over the years. And this year it was 4 Ocean. Their website is, I don't know the website. What is it?
4ocean.com.
Oh, 4ocean.com. And it's really awesome, super awesome. And what was great about this is you get bracelets, tangible bracelets, where they're collecting plastic out of the ocean. They're making them into bracelets. So you just purchase the bracelets there on your store, and people buy the bracelet, and they're saving the ocean. There's a little video thing you get with it. That was our outreach this year. It was 4 Ocean, and that was a huge hit. We did quite a bit. We've reordered the bracelets 4 or 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
We've reordered them. It's great, and people see that you really do care.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when you make the donation, or you make the like we did Reef Ball Foundation. We also did the coral restoration, and we did it at Aquatic Experience. You got to make the big check. You make the big check, and you got to have your picture of you with the big check and put it on your social media. So that way people know you're not going to keep that money. That what you and you thank your community for helping you do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, those big checks, they're not that expensive to buy. You can buy them online, I think, for about $100, and they're like a dry erase. Yeah,
you just got to do it, and because your community needs to see you care. I think all of us do in the pet industry. Man, I've met so many awesome people, and we all love animals, and we just adore them. We just love them and we adore them. But we got to do a better job of getting that message out there. We need to tell people that we do care, and not be grumpy and stressed about our business and all, but be happy about what we do.
Yeah.
That's
well, I like that because it's like that abundance mindset. You're again, because a lot of time I meet retailers who the attitude about their community is bad because they're like, well, the customers have stopped shopping with us, or the people who've moved in now don't support local business. They're all shopping online. And these business owners who've been in business as long as you have, even less than that, are cranky. And it's like, you have to like change your mindset and know that, okay, if I'm going to give back to my community, they're going to give back to me. And it's not just a gift basket you donate to their school for a charity. It's like you're saying, getting really involved and showing your support.
I agree. I think we need, the other thing, I'm so happy to see younger people coming into our industry, because younger people, let's face it, you guys are more tech savvy. You do things differently than what I've learned or what I've done. I'm all open to it. When I'm at a show and I meet young owners, I'm like, all right, great for you, and I'm very excited. I'm like, I can tell you some of our experiences and things things I've learned over the years. But young people, we need more young people.
Yeah.
It can be discouraging because it's hard for young people to come up with the money to, get a brick and mortar shop. It's discouraging.
Yeah, it does cost a lot. All right, so as we wrap up here, you've got some great business resources that you wanted to share. Got a couple books there, and do you want to elaborate on those, or do you have other ones?
I'll just show a couple. First one is I highly recommend this book. My wife bought this for me. It was something she said, Patrick, you do this already. And she said, and I saw this was on the New York Times bestseller list, and maybe you should read it. But this book is amazing. It's so good. It helps you kind of think about your purpose of your business and manage. It teaches you how to, you make your decisions by managing to the purpose, managing to your mission. Don't worry about the money. And we have started setting off this way over 10 years ago, and it really helps make business decisions for you. That's a great one. I love Good to Great, which is by Jim Collins. Good to Great. Have you read this, Candace? You know it? You should. It's a great book. I picked this up at Global Pet Expo, actually. I was down at Global Pet Expo. We won Best Live Animal Retailer one year, and I was down there, and I was sitting in an airport in Orlando. I was like jacked up because I had this great show. I'm like, I need to get something good for business, and I grabbed it. I was enthralled with it, so I came back. You know what I did, Candace? I bought a copy for every manager. That's how you do it. I bought every copy. It was great. Recent one is Good Profit. This talks a lot about big corporations, but it's about your profit that you make. It's about organizing it so that the profit you make is good for not just you, it should be good for your employees. Your employees should be prospering from your profit. And most importantly, your clients should be prospering from your profit. i.e., there's something about your profit that has to be given back to the community or back to its services that's going to help. So it's a great book. Leaders Make the Future is another one by Bob Johansson. I actually picked this up at the Top to Top conference and I saw Bob speak on this twice. It's a really great book. I really like this one a lot. This is one of my favorite books that I've read that really helped me. And it actually is talking to the millennials and what you have to start thinking about. If you want to be a leader, it's about understanding millennials. And understanding millennials is important because that means you can work with them better, you can direct them better, but you can service them better. So it's really a great book. But my favorite book of all time, Candace, I know I don't want to run out of time, is The Dragon Behind the Glass. And it will teach you nothing about business. But I have to tell you, if you like adventure and you like fish and you're in this business, I cannot tell you enough how you have to read this book. This is like a Harry Potter adventure for us in the business. It was done by Emily Voigt. It's about the mystique of the red arowana, and it will talk to you about the history of ichthyology, the history of fish. She was, in fact, I became such a fan. I emailed her, and I wouldn't stop emailing her until she would come to my store and do a book signing.
Cool.
Yeah, so she finally had to come. But I really recommend this book. For those of you who haven't read it, seriously read this book. You'll enjoy it. Email me. Tell me what you think. I think you'll love it. Yeah, that's my book. I got more, but I'm not going to keep going through it.
You're like passionate about reading.
Yeah, I know. I'm reading one right now, but I'll. Do you
only read one book at a time, or do you read multiple books?
Right now I'm doing two. Yeah, we're doing two. My wife and I are doing something. We're doing an audio book. It's for our first time doing it because we have some traveling to do over the holidays. So we're going to give it a go with the audio book, and we're going to listen to this one. But I'm actually reading. Yeah, I sometimes I'm doing 2 or 3 at a time.
Yeah, I love audiobooks as well. I'm not a big, I haven't ever been like a big physical book reader because I get, just get distracted, I think, too fast. But I love audiobooks, and I just learned about another platform called mentorbox.com. And I think, you buy a,
that's his question. I'm just, go ahead, Candace, talk. I'm just showing.
This was his first book. Mentorbox.com, where they've selected some of the best business books, and they actually team up with the authors of the books, and they record. You get to hear like snippets and videos directly from authors. So it's pretty cool tool, mentorbox.com. But cool. Well, I guess that's about it for today. I did want to clarify real quick so that because I misspoke earlier about the Pets Plus annual contest for America's Coolest Stores. Ralph has told us in the chat here that actually entries, if you want to be considered for the 2019 Coolest Store, America's Coolest Store, you can actually start applying in January. And the deadline is in March for submissions. So you can see everything about it on their website at petsplusmag.com. So check that out there. But anyway, I just want to thank everyone for joining us today. Thank you, Patrick. This has been wonderful. Wonderful. I've really enjoyed all of your words of wisdom and your energy and your excitement. I believe we're fortunate to have you in the pet industry as well. And just thank you so much for your time today.
Well, thank you so much. That's very kind of you to say. I mean that. So good luck with your program, and just for me with Pets Plus, and I'm not just saying this, but I contributed to some of the other magazines, but I really, really like Pets Plus, and I think they're doing an outstanding job. They really are. So what Candace is telling you, she is right. It is my favorite magazine I read. I mean that. It's a great magazine.
Yes, couldn't agree more too. I thought the very time I saw the first issue, I sent them an email and I was like, I stopped reading all of the other publications because they were so advertiser driven, and this is like true good content. So
I know, and I was right. I've written for 2 of the other publications. I've had plenty of published stories in those other publications. And I do look at them, so I'm not going to say I don't. But when I get my Pets Plus, I actually really go through it. And I love the management tips. Best one is the tips. I love it. I've taken them to meetings. I go in the meeting with you cannot see me. She's sitting right over here. She'll tell you that there's copies of our Pets Plus. I copy some of it and bring it to the management meeting.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. Speaking of this issue here now, in our next Pets Plus live show and in tips, we actually are going to be doing another live stream just like this. And it's where I actually go in and teach some of the content that's in here, whether it's going to be from my own article or other articles. And so our next show is going to be December 27th at 11 a.m. Eastern. And you'll see it right here on the top of this issue, the New Year's solutions turn post-holidays into cash fast. But it's also really about what we can do as businesses to have that boost in the post-holiday time frame, whether it's right after the holidays before New Year's or even into January. So we're going to go through some of the strategies that are actually in the magazine and our viewers will be able to ask questions live as well. So save that on your calendar, December 27th at 11. And all right, I guess that's it for today, guys. Tune in next time and tell your friends in the pet industry to check out Pet Boss Nation and Pets Plus Magazine and absolutely Fish.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much, everybody. Thank you, Patrick.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.